the story of Alina Marcus, and Lily became the quiet epic of Willow Creek, the kind told in lowered voices over coffee or across the back fence. It was never a morality tale with a clear hero or villain, but a modern fable about the shadows that live inside desire and the unexpected, hard-won redemption that can grow in the cracks of broken things. Their life in the years that followed Lily's birth was a study in quiet contrasts. The tempest that had brought them together was now a distant, shameful memory, a hurricane whose scars were visible only in them. Subtle shifts of weather between them. They lived in a small, sunlit Cape Cod on a quiet cul-de-sac, far cry from the sleek, modernist dream home Marcus had once sketched for their fantasy life. It was Sophia's old realtor who had found it for them, a gesture so startling in its pragmatic kindness that Alina had wept again. The house was filled with light and the cheerful chaos of a child. Lily's toys colonized the living room, bright plastic blocks and stuffed animals scattered across the faded but clean rug. Marcus's architectural models, once displayed with museum-like precision in his office, now shared shelf space with picture books and clay sculptures from Lily's preschool. Elena's home office was a converted sun porch, her marketing awards tucked behind a thriving spider plant. It was a lived-in, real home, a testament to a different, more humble kind of survival. Their love, if it could still be called that, had changed its nature. The obsessive, consuming fire had banked to a steady, sometimes tired glow. It was not romantic love, not in the storybook sense. It was the love of fellow soldiers who had survived the same terrible battle. It was in the way Marcus automatically filled her coffee mug in the morning, knowing exactly how much cream she took. It was in the way Alina would massage the tension from his shoulders after a long day, her fingers finding the familiar knots without thought. It was in the silent, coordinated dance of caring for Lily, one bathing, one reading, one soothing nightmares. Their physical relationship, once a battlefield of passion and pain, became infrequent and gentle, a comfort more than a conquest, a whispered affirmation that they were still here, still choosing each other day by day. Therapy with Dr. Evans continued, first weekly, then bi-weekly, then monthly check-ins. It was their tune-up, their emotional oil change. They learned to spot the old ghosts. For Marcus, the ghost was a feeling of being caged. Sometimes, watching Alina expertly manage their budget or plan Lily's schedule, he would feel a familiar claustrophobia, a whisper that said, "You traded one gentle jailer for a more demanding one." He had to consciously name it. This is not control. This is partnership. This is the architecture of a shared life, not a prison. For Elena, the ghost was a chilling fear of worthlessness. If Lily was fussy and preferred Marcus, if a work project failed, if she caught her reflection and saw not the sharp, formidable executive but a tired mother in sweatpants, the old voice would hiss, "See? You are not enough. You had to steal to have this, and you're still not good at it." She learned to counter it. "I am learning. I am enough for this child. My worth is not a prize I stole. It is mine to build." The scars of their mutual violence were not just emotional. Marcus had a faint, white line near his temple from the stapler. Elena had a tiny, silvery scar on her forearm from a shard of the shattered vase. They were badges not of honor, but of a warning they vowed never to forget. Sometimes, in a moment of sharp disagreement, a hand would be raised in emphasis and then carefully lowered. An old, furious retort would rise to the tongue and be swallowed. They had built a new language, slower and less satisfying in its immediacy, but infinitely safer. Lily was the sun around which their reformed galaxy orbited. At 5, she was a curious, solemn-eyed child with a startling perceptiveness. She had inherited Elena's dark, straight hair and the intense focus of her stormy gaze. But when she laughed, a rare, full-bodied sound. It was pure, Sonny Marcus. She was a quiet child, observant, as if sensing the delicate ecosystem of her home. She asked difficult questions. "Mommy," she said one day, drawing at the kitchen table while Elena chopped vegetables. "Aunt Sophia is my aunt, but she's not your sister?" Elena's knife stilled. They had never lied to Lily about her origins, but had offered the truth in age-appropriate fragments. Daddy was married to Aunt Sophia a long time ago. Then Mommy and Daddy fell in love and had you. It hurt Aunt Sophia's feelings very much, and we are very sorry. "She was," Elena said carefully, resuming her chopping. "A long time ago, we had a very big fight. Sometimes, even when you're sorry, things can't go back to how they were." Lily considered this, her small brow furrowed. "Did you say sorry?" "Yes, sweetheart, many times. And she gave me Bunny," Lily said, clutching the worn stuffed rabbit Sophia had sent. It was her most treasured possession. "Yes, she did." Elena's throat tightened. That was a very kind thing to do. Sophia's presence in their lives was the most complex and fragile thread. The forgiveness she had extended was not absolution. It was a ceasefire, a decision to not let the poison of the past forever contaminate the future, especially Lily's future. She had rebuilt her life with a quiet dignity that commanded a painful respect. She had taken a sabbatical from teaching, traveled to Italy alone, and returned to open a small, beloved children's bookstore in town called the Paper Garden. It was a place of wonder, with a miniature castle for reading and weekly story hours. She let herself. She had never remarried, but she had a calm circle of friends and a deep contentment that seemed, to Elena, both admirable and a silent rebuke. Her visits to see Lily were structured, usually on Saturday afternoons. They were cordial, filled with the neutral chatter of caregivers, Lily's latest achievements, preschool dramas, book recommendations. Marcus was usually absent for these visits, working in his study or running errands, an unspoken agreement. That spared everyone's feelings. The sisters, once steps, now something else, spoke politely. They never spoke of the past. It sat between them like a third person, invisible and immense. One Saturday, however, Sophia stayed longer than usual. Lily had fallen asleep on the couch after a trip to the park, exhausted. The two women found themselves in the quiet kitchen, the silence stretching from polite to pregnant. "She's reading ahead of her level," Sophia said finally, sipping the tea Elena had made. "You should get her the Magic Treehouse series. She'd devour them." "I will thank you," Elena leaned against the counter. "The bookstore. It's doing so well. I hear wonderful things." A faint smile touched Sophia's lips. "It's my happy place. It's uncomplicated." The word hung in the air, uncomplicated, the opposite of everything they had ever been. Elena took a shaky breath. The words came out before she could stop them. "Sophia, I know I can never say it enough. I know sorry is the most useless word in the world for what I did. But I am every single day. Not just for Marcus, for betraying you. You were my sister. However I felt about it, you were, and I destroyed that." Sophia looked at her, her blue eyes clear and calm, but deep with an old, settled pain. She didn't speak for a long moment, watching the steam rise from her mug. "I know you're sorry, Elena," she said quietly. "I've known for a long time. Your guilt. It's almost its own presence. I used to feed off it, you know? In the first year, I wanted you to drown in it. I wanted you to feel even a fraction of what you made me feel." Elena could only nod, tears pricking her eyes. "But," Sophia continued, her voice softening, "it doesn't help. It doesn't help me, and it doesn't help her." She glanced toward the sleeping Lily. She didn't ask for any of this. She just needs people who love her, however messed up we all are. She set her mug down. "I don't forgive you for me. Not fully, that might never happen, but I forgive you for her. And for the two of you, I suppose, because whatever that is." She gestured vaguely between Elena and the rest of the houseware. Marcus's presence could be felt. "It seems like you're trying, really trying, and that's more than I expected." It was not absolution. It was something more real, a fragile, enduring truce. Elena wept then, silent tears of grief and a profound, humble gratitude. Sophia did not hug her. She simply waited until Elena composed herself, then stood and gathered her things. "I'll see you next Saturday," she said, and left. When Marcus came downstairs later, he found Elena sitting at the table, her eyes red-rimmed, but her face strangely peaceful. "Sophia left?" he asked. "Yes." "Everything okay?" Elena looked up at him. This man who was the source of her greatest ruin and her most steadfast, if unlikely, redemption. "Yeah," she said softly. "I think it is." As Lily grew, so did the challenges. Parenting exposed new fault lines in their partnership. Elena, the strategist, wanted schedules, educational plans, rules. Marcus, who saw the world in forms and flows, advocated for creativity, freedom, exploration. Lily's first major tantrum at age 6, a spectacular meltdown in the grocery store over a denied sugary cereal, triggered a monumental clash. "You undermine me," Elena hissed in the car, Lily sobbing in the back seat. "You give me that cool dad look when I'm trying to set a boundary." "She's a child, not a client account," Marcus shot back, gripping the steering wheel. "You can't manage her emotions with a flowchart." They drove home in furious silence. That evening, after Lily was asleep, they didn't fight. They sat at the kitchen table, exhausted. "I'm afraid of being the bad guy," Elena admitted, her head in her hands. "I'm afraid if I'm too strict, she wished I was more like Sophia. Easy. Gentle." Marcus reached across the table, covering her hand with his. It was a simple, steadying touch. "She won't. You're her mother. She needs your strength too. I'm afraid of being like my own father. Distant. So caught up in my own head. I miss everything." They had learned this, to trace the present fear back to the old wound. It diffused the bomb. They made a pact. Present a united front. Discuss disagreements later. Privately. It was imperfect, but it worked more often than not. The outside world was not always as understanding as their small, fractured circle. Willow Creek was a polite town, but its judgments were veiled in pleasantries. At a school fundraiser, Elena overheard two mothers whispering as she passed. "That's her, the one who stole her sister's husband. And the little girl is the one from the, She felt the old, hot shame rise, mixed with the new, protective fury. She was no longer just Elena, the homewrecker. She was Lily's mother, and she would not let her daughter be whispered about. She turned and walked directly up to the women, her professional poise snapping into place like armor. "Good evening," she said, her voice cool and clear. "I'm Elena Van Spoon, Lily's mother. I don't believe we've met." The women flushed, stammering introductions. Elena smiled, a sharp, polished smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Lovely to meet you. The silent auction items are that way." She walked away, her heart hammering, but her head high. She would not hide. They existed. Their family existed. Marcus faced his own professional ghosts. His reputation had taken a hit after the scandal. The whispers of drama and unreliable character, costing him a few high-profile clients. He had to rebuild, not as the golden boy, but as a man of substance who had faced his own demons. He found a new niche designing community centers and sustainable, affordable housing work that felt less like building, monuments to wealth and more, like making amends to the world. He came home from these projects tired but fulfilled, his hands dirty from site visits, a quiet pride in his eyes that had nothing to do with his old, polished charm. Years folded into one another. Lily turned 10. She was a bookish, artistic child, fiercely loyal to her small group of friends, with a keen sense of justice inherited from both parents in their own ways. She knew her family's story in its broad strokes, and the knowledge seemed to make her protective of them. All of her mother's sharp edges, her father's quiet intensity, and her Aunt Sophia's gentle, solitary strength. On a cool autumn afternoon when Lily was 12, the past made an unexpected final visit. Robert Thorne, Sophia's father and Elena's stepfather, passed away peacefully in his sleep. He had remained a gentle, slightly baffled presence throughout the turmoil, loving his daughter Sophia fiercely, maintaining a cautious, kind relationship with Irene, and treating Elena and Marcus with a puzzled but unwavering decency. His funeral brought them all together again under one roof, the old Victorian, now owned by a young family, but rented for the reception. Irene, now gray-haired and softer, clung to Elena, her grief mixed with a lifetime of unspoken complexities. Sophia was the picture of composed grief, greeting guests with a steady voice, her eyes red but dry. Marcus stood with Elena, a supportive hand on the small of her back, feeling like an intruder in this history of a family he had helped fracture. It was in the backyard, under the ancient oak whose shade had witnessed so much. The three of them, Elena, Sophia, and Marcus, found themselves momentarily alone. The sounds of the reception drifted from the house. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of fallen leaves and memories. Sophia looked at the tree, then at them. "He loved this tree," she said softly. "He used to say it had seen more of our family's truth than anyone." A heavy silence fell. Marcus cleared his throat. "Sophia, I never properly apologized to you. Not in a way that could ever be enough. I was selfish and cruel. I destroyed something beautiful out of sheer boredom and arrogance. You deserved so much better." Sophia looked at him, really looked at him for the first time in over a decade. He saw the lines of strain and care around his eyes, the humility that had replaced the cocky charm. She saw a man who had been tempered by fire. "I know," she said simply, "and in a strange way, you gave me a gift, the gift of having to rebuild myself from the ground up. I'm stronger now than I ever was with you." She turned to Elena. "And you were always a storm. I wanted to be the sun that calmed you, but I was just a season you passed through. I think you two were always a matched set, a destructive force. I'm glad you found a way to be a creative one instead, for Lily's sake, for your own." It was the closest to a blessing they would ever receive. It was an acknowledgement that their painful, twisted path had, against all odds, led to a place of relative peace. Not happiness, not as the world defined it, but a deep, hard-earned content. That night, back in their own home, with Lily asleep upstairs, Elena and Marcus sat on their back porch. The sky was clear, scattered with stars. "Do you think we're happy?" Elena asked, the question hanging in the cool air. Marcus thought for a long time. He thought of the screaming matches in motel rooms, the taste of blood and desperation. He thought of the first time he held Lily, the crushing weight of responsibility and love. He thought of the silent teamwork of packing lunches, of the comfort of shared silence, of the way Alina still looked at him sometimes, not with lust, but with a knowing, weathered solidarity. "No," he said finally, honestly, "not happy. That's too simple a word. It implies we arrived somewhere. I think we're at peace. We're building something real, brick by brick, day by day. And some days, that feels like more than I deserve. Some days, it feels like everything." Alina reached over and took his hand, lacing her fingers with his. His palm was calloused now, from real work. "Yeah," she whispered. "That's it. We're at peace. Willow Creek, in time, forgot to whisper. The scandal became an old story, replaced by newer dramas. The old Victorian on Maple Drive saw new children grow under its eaves, unaware of the secrets its walls held. The ancient oak stood sentinel, its roots deep in the dark, rich soil, its branches reaching for the light. It had seen love that was gentle and true, like Robert's for his first wife, and for Irene in his quiet way. It had seen love that was envious and destructive, that tore families apart. And now it saw something else. Love as a conscious, daily choice. Love as repair. Love that was not a feeling to be fallen into, but a structure to be built with careful hands on a foundation of forgiven, but never forgotten wreckage. Alina and Marcus never got their fairy tale. They got something rarer, a reality they could bear, a daughter they adored, and a quiet, stubborn grace that grew in the space between I'm Sorry and Immune. Here, their story was not one of a happy ending, but of a continuous, imperfect beginning, and in the end, for them, that was enough.